Oh, come on. Hello, my name's Sam. I'm just going to wait for a few more people. Hello. Just going to wait for a few more people to turn up, and then okay, turn that one off. Hello, my name's Sam. I'm just going to wait a little whilst we wait for some people to turn up. Give them a few minutes. Make sure everybody's got a nice cup of coffee or tea or whatever. Although, why you'd be listening to a seminar when you could be outside in the sun? I don't know. No, well, I'd rather be. If you could just say hello when you get here. So far, it's just me and you at the moment. We'll wait and see if anybody else is coming along. I take the participants off and go for chat. Yes, so as I say, I'm just waiting for a few more people to turn up. And then I'll get going. Obviously, introduce yourselves when you get here. As is our usual kind of method. So I might just do a little thing right on here. Although those people in the writing, it's awful. Makes a change for me to be on time. Not so much traffic on the garden path this morning. Oh, hi Ange. Hope you're keeping well. Mm-hmm. Not very readable. Yeah, it's sort of readable. I'll maybe do that on the camera. So far, Ange, it's just you and me. Hopefully somebody else will turn up. I hope you're getting on well. Catch up on a few emails whilst I'm waiting. If they can change my camera whilst I'm in here. You can take a pop-out chat. Oh, that's quite cool. I like that. I might have that. I might have that on my other screen. Oh, dear me. Nice and quiet. Well, I do hope somebody else turns up. Well, give it a bit longer. I hope you got a nice cup of coffee. I've just finished mine. Put that over there. Hello, I think somebody else has turned up. Well, that could just be somebody popping in and out, which was a advertiser, which is a little bit annoying sometimes. And it's a nice day. I'm gonna see what it's like at past. I'm happy to do presentation one-on-one, or I can just record it and post it like I normally do. Let me know. Also, it'd be nice to have a chat. So maybe could contact you through Zoom or something like that if you email me. And 10 o'clock next week. Oops. I hope to see. I'm just going to open up my email. That's the wrong email. Here we go. Oh, it's a nice instruction email, Ange. Yes, they may pop by. Oh, birthday celebration. Yeah, do just yeah, well, I've got your email. Just email me when's a useful sort of time, or day, he says, and then we'll arrange to have a chat. Oh, a birthday with no cake? What kind of birthday is that? That's just wrong. That's just so wrong. Yeah, it is. It is a sad one. Yeah. course, it doesn't stop you doing cake and having it later or another time. Although I might replace cake next couple of days and go with fruit flan or fruit tart. We just had our veg box, and we have veg box delivered, and I also had a berry blast as well. So now we've got strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, bananas, apples, pears, oranges. Although I'm not a fan of oranges, even in a fruit salad. So you just sit there going, you know what? I've got all of this fruit, and I want it all. But I'm just going to make one huge fruit salad, which is also a bit rude because my wife doesn't like fruit salad, so I get a lot of fruit salad, and we've got ice cream to go with it. And seeing as it looks as though it's going to be nice, we're going to be sitting in the garden eating fruit salad and ice cream. No, yeah, or fruit tart or fruit flan. I haven't decided yet. So I am going to hang around a bit because sometimes people do pop in a bit later. A fruit crumble with the leftovers? Top idea, absolutely. And seeing as we've also got rhubarb in the freezer, then we can add rhubarb to the fruit crumble. Oh. Although I don't think I should be allowed to make crumble because there's quite often a bit too much food. Oh, hello. Sorry, I'm just wittering away. We're a little bit late starting. We're just waiting to see if anybody else turns up. Please feel free to just say hello, because at the moment there was just the two of us, so we're just listening to my inane chatter about fruit salad and ice cream, which makes a change from cake, which is what it's normally about. So please just pop a note in to say hello. And then I might even get going soon once I can find all of my stuff. At the moment, there's only the three of us here. And I am willing to continue, but I just thought I would check and see if anybody else pops along. So if you're happy, I'll give it a little bit more, just help maybe to know who you are. But you don't have to chat if you don't want to. You can just sit in the back and listen to me wittering on whilst I'm waiting. And it would appreciate the feedback from one or two of you who are here. We're still choosing to do this as a straight sort of YouTube presentation rather than using something like Zoom or something else, or by screen sharing so that you see. Oh yeah, do make a cuppa. I'll have one, Ange. We're rather than doing a screen sharing, so it looks a bit more like a class or presentation, which is not what we want. And YouTube is easier to engage with. So that's why we're just doing like me sitting in here in my shed, chatting away with these seminars, which have been quite fun to put together. Although I made some notes for this one, and then I don't know what I did with them, so I had to go and find them all again and make them all again to try to give it. I know if you listen to me, it doesn't look as though there is any kind of structure, but just trust me, I do try to put some kind of structure and organization so that they make sense somewhere along the line. Hopefully they do, and I'd appreciate your feedback. But we do have other videos on our YouTube page, but also please feel free to drop a comment on this video or on any of the others, or on the YouTube channel itself, for things that you would like, because we're going to do certainly one day a week, Wednesday morning during the current lockdown and social distancing situations, because they can help. It gives you something different, and I do know that some people are watching the videos because I can see some of the figures coming through. but we will also, if people would like to learn something or have a go at something different, give us a shout, because we may well put something together. I got some people who are nice people who sometimes will do something for nothing, which is great. I had a go at some of the craft videos. I'm not going to tell Julia just how much success I had with decoupage, because I'd rather pretend that it worked as opposed to made a real mess of my table, which wouldn't be a problem normally, but it is also where I do put all my notes. So it's over there. Sorry, you can't see it. Well, I might point it over there just for a minute. So it's over there. And I managed to get all of the sticky glue and all the mess off it. But that's where I'm supposed to do my work and prepare stuff. So some of the stuff that I said to some of my bosses, who I hope aren't watching, it is one of the reasons why I haven't done what I said I'd do, is because I was too busy taking all the glue off there. But I do like the craft videos. I thought Julia did very, very good. I think they're lovely things to have a go of. And she's got a shed to die for. Also, I got some other friends, and I'd see if we can pop up some other ones. So let us know what you want. After last week's doing some art, taking notice that we looked at, I had some quite fun drawing my bug house in the garden. And now I'm thinking, do you know what? I quite enjoyed that. My picture isn't necessarily the best, but it was such a good time. And it was a nice way to sit outside and hear everything, and I was focusing on trying to draw it. You sit there going, do you know what? I know some people who are artists. I wonder if I now might have a go of trying to make my sketching just a little bit better. Oh, good morning, Sean. With a smiley face. So, Sean, at the moment, it's you, me, and Ange. I'm just waiting to see if anybody else comes along. So you just got some random witter. And the important news, and it's very important news, is not only is Ange having a birthday celebration there, but there's no cake. And that's just wrong. It's just wrong not to have cake. So also, we've been looking at some healthy food for a change. I know you're not going to believe it, but because the veg box arrived the other day, and there's all the fruit, because I had a fruit berry bundle as well. Talking about fruit salad and then making a fruit crumble, although I should make fruit crumble, because the amount of sugar goes into this fruit crumble is not so good. Also, don't pay any attention to the stuff about the glue on the table. Didn't cause any trouble. So I'm waiting to see if anybody else comes along, because sometimes people do pop in a bit later. If not, then we might just sit down and have a coffee. Andrew's just gone to make them. I don't know if she's back yet. And then you can either say, yeah, go ahead, or I'll just not print out something and put it on the YouTube table. Get something printed, stick it in the computer. I'll do one of those videos and just post them up there, because I've got it all sort of ready and done. So, but whilst you're here, I'm hoping the poster's nice and visible, because I can see how many people here, so I know that we don't have anybody else at the moment. He says, unless you can be anonymous and look at these things, but I doubt it. Like the poster. I still got Dan's business cards. I've been thinking we might sell them back to him. Cool. Yeah. Oh, cool. Thanks, Ange. It's supposed to be clear, otherwise Sean and Dan will batter me. You know what they're like. Scary people. sort that out at some point. I think actually I might have to consider tidying up my shed. I might also need a bigger shed. I hope Jenny doesn't find the stuff that's in the other shed. Absolutely. Although I'm still going to schedule in 10 till 12 just in case, and if nobody turns up, then I will do some other work, which is fine by me. Oh, I do some gardening actually. It's not so bad. Just give us a date and I'll set up a Zoom type thing. Zoom. I have to figure out how you do cake via Zoom. Oh, I should check my calendar. What page are you on? You're on that page. Ho, ho, ho. Just wait for my calendar to come up. Well, next week looks okay. Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday afternoon. Crumbs, nice to see some spaces. Oh, hang on a minute. It looks like I have to go to work. Hello, everybody. We're very slow getting started today. We were just waiting for some people to turn up. So at the moment, we're just talking about cake if we have a Zoom meeting. And there is a good idea here is that sadly, cake can only be shared through screen share, but we could eat cake at the same time, I suppose, which is a good plan. I think that could work. We could even have different flavor cakes and talk about that. That's more important. So if you'd just like to say hello, I'm just going to check where we are. So we tend to use the chat here. So please just pop your name in the chat and just say hello. The chat is the method that we use to talk back to me, but also we tend to communicate in our chat anyway. It's a very informal sort of seminar. So I suppose because we now have a cohort, we've almost got enough for a volleyball team. I think it's 5 or 6 in a volleyball team. I can't remember. So I'm just going to pull up everything that I just closed. And then we'll get ready. See, there's cake. We got a picture of cake. What type of cake is that, Sean? Yeah, okay, right. So I'm going to get going because I can see that we've actually got some people here. Obviously, and that, I mean, because you don't have to say hello, you don't have to introduce yourselves in the chat. It just makes it nice but you don't have to. If you just want to sit back and see what happens, that's fine by me. So obviously, if it was just our own team, then we would consider doing something else, like baking cake ready for a future meeting. So I will get going unless people say otherwise. So he says he'll get going. So here we go. And I will also do this as I'll record a video, so it won't be this chat. Otherwise, there'll be two. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a nice one. If people who are watching are finding it difficult to type or use the chat, then please send an email to Ange, and she'll be happy to type up your questions. So if Ange, if you could just, there she is, she's just popping her email address up there. Actually, in future, what we might do, Sean and Ange, we might also think about having one of you maybe monitoring the Facebook, and that way, if people wanted to comment that way, they could. Maybe something to think about. Should have thought about that before. Oh, we got a like. Yay. Okay, I think that's a good idea. Thanks, Ange. Brilliant. Talk to Dan and Sean, because they'll almost certainly have to pay you cake for you doing some extra work. Right. Okay, so here we go. What we're going to look at today is the power of learning for personal well-being. So I'm... and this is one of the 5 steps to improve your mental health well-being, 5 steps to well-being, which are what these are all about. This is the 3rd in the series, delayed because we missed a week last week. The 5 steps include connect, be active, give to others, keep learning, and be mindful. We're looking at things sitting within those that influence those. And today we're focusing a little bit on keep learning, which is something that I really like. So learning is one of the 5 steps to well-being. And today I intend to try to look at how learning enhances well-being, how it can give a sense of achievement. I'll just put this where I can see it a little bit better. So in this session, stroke seminar, stroke rambling, we're going to look at how learning assists well-being by increasing our mental resilience and self-esteem. So it sort of follows on from week before seminar. And to achieve this, we're going to look at the power of developing a growth mindset, which helps us to undertake learning. And we're also going to look at a variety of possible options for learning. Okay, so we sort of had some basic rules for I'm just going to pop the chat out. Sorry, wait a minute. Pop out chat so I can see something on my other screen. There we go. So we use the chat as a method of people getting involved and entertained. So if you've got any questions, feel free to pop them in there. Also, you can email Ange, and Ange has put her email address up in there, and she'll then ask the question. So I will sometimes be looking over there because that's where I've got the chat window. So basic comments. Please use the comment section to ask questions and to add comments and ideas. It's your webinar, so feel free to take part. There are no stupid questions, so please ask whatever you want. If you want to remain anonymous, then contact us by email and just put her stuff in there, because then your name won't pop up, which is absolutely fine. But we can still probably get to your question. There is a 20 secondish delay between the chats, so sometimes it's a while before I see the questions, but I am watching them. Okay, but you found it now. ASMR. So brilliant, great. Drop anything in there. Enjoy yourself, have cake, whatever. Take a break whenever you want. Be nice. Avoid bad language and nasty comments about other people. Respect other people's opinions. And there's another rule, which is provide me with cake, which is my favourite rule. Not sure how that works in visual stuff. Hello, Kerry. Brilliant. So, right. Well-being is associated with personal confidence and optimism about the future and the control which we have over our own destiny. It helps us to gain influence over our own destiny and the social skills that promote effective and rewarding relationships with others. Our personal well-being is directly affected by issues of mental health. And seeing as mental health will affect 25% of the population, at least, there's an argument that it's 25% of the population in any one given year. Learning is a powerful tool in recovery from mental health issues. I'm actually using a PowerPoint slide here to remind myself, which I will use in the talk, and I've just noticed a horrendous spelling error. So just correct that if you hear some typing. And it's recognised by many, including the World Health Organization and by the Mental Health Foundation, as a really good method. Actually, yeah, I didn't think about the chat being a bit trickier to find. I just assumed that people know about that because I've been playing on YouTube for a while. I might stick some little guidance on finding the chat first time. Thanks, guys. Didn't know about that problem. Okay. What's interesting is I've read through the Mental Health Foundation's report, which is sitting at the bottom there, and you can get it from the web. The foundation concluded that community-based adult education programs can provide an effective method in reducing mild to moderate depression and anxiety, which is one of the reasons why we're doing these seminar presentations, and that we're working with our colleagues at Hillcrest Surgery in providing community education in their surgeries or nearby their surgeries when when the lockdown's finished. So that's why we've moved online for the time being. They're actually, a Health Foundation also said learning is simple. I'm not sure it's always that simple, as it can take quite a while to prepare the content that you're going to deliver, especially if it's a sunny day and there's ice in the freezer and you'd rather be out there than sitting in and writing something. And in addition to this seminar presentation rambling, we also have other recordings on our YouTube websites, which are freely available. If there's a topical area you'd like us to cover, please contact us on our YouTube site. Posted a couple of nice ones by Julia on craft recently, which are pretty good. Oh, there's an aeroplane going over. So why? Basically, why does learning help in terms of our well-being and our ability to recover from it? Just going to leave that question there for a couple of seconds, let you think about it. Obviously, when I say a couple of seconds, I mean 20 plus seconds. Why do you think learning can help with personal well-being? What can learning give us that helps us? And also, why do you think it's a good method to recover? Just pop in a couple of comments. This gives me a chance to sit back and try and find some sweets, but I think I've run out of sweets as well as cake. So I'll just give you a chance to type something and then I'll be back in a minute. I also think it must be quite tricky typing a comment whilst you're on a mobile phone. Cool. Some people. Very clever. You got no sweets? I've got another mouse. Can't eat mice though. I've lost the cucumber flip. Just going to give a couple more seconds in case anybody wants to type a comment. You don't have to. You can sit there and watch me being a muppet. Fine. I like it. I also like talking to myself because it's not quite so disturbing. I'll take the battery out so we don't. Absolutely bang on. Learning can and does help us build confidence. We might actually look at how that really works. So I'm going to carry on, but I will also keep watching the chat. Just so you know, it's a bit confusing. My notes are right in front of me so that I don't stray off too far. It's a nice looking PowerPoint, by the way. Plus a load of post-its, but you can't see those. And then I'll put the chat over there. And just so that I can see whether it's streaming okay, I've got the video over there. So if I'm looking in the wrong way, you know why. Okay, I don't know if you've ever heard of Bill Watterson. He's the chap that wrote Calvin and Hobbes cartoons. Really funny series of cartoon. And he says, a playful mind is inquisitive and learning is fun. If you indulge in natural curiosity and retain a sense of fun in new experience, I think you'll find it functions as a sort of shock absorber for the bumpy road ahead. Actually, Kerry, you've just really hit it there. And that learning can help you set goals, and when you can see progress, you get a sense of achievement. Absolutely right, and we're going to look at that a little bit further. What this shock absorber is that Bill Watterson's talking about is actually mental resilience. So, and also, I like Bill Watterson's approach to education because he thinks of it as learning is fun. When it's something you want to do, it becomes easier to do it. And all learning should be fun and entertaining. That's my opinion. But there's actually some science. So research has demonstrated that learning improves and assists in maintaining our personal well-being. It boosts self-confidence, as Anne just pointed out, and self-esteem. Self-esteem we've looked at in previous weeks. It helps to build a sense of purpose and our ability to connect with others. On a lot of courses, be they e-learning courses or small courses in the community or whatever, it's not just the learning, it's the interacting and it's the meeting and social engagement with the classmates, which is often as important, in my opinion, because that's social well-being. And we tend to make a lot of friends when we learn. And also, I often hear learners, myself, and I'm sure you have, report that they feel better about themselves and have, therefore, a greater ability to cope with stress. And in addition, as we've said, they feel more confident. And as Kerry pointed out, the setting of goals and working towards them is vital. It's been, yes, self-efficiency. It's being considered as an important way to boost confidence and self-esteem. Hence the reason I keep including the action plan. I think I might have forgotten that today. Element in these seminars, because setting and achieving goals is the key to learning. And more importantly, it creates a positive feelings of accomplishment, which often provide the motivation to do more learning and therefore accomplish even more. All of these things, you're building the confidence, self-efficiency, sense of achievement. A sense of achievement makes it easier to look for the next target to achieve that. So you start making an upward spiral. Mental health, anxiety, depression start causing this negative spiral. But once you can start putting any step that puts it back up, it will quite often lead to another one that comes a little bit further up. So you get a positive spiral, and that really helps. And there's loads more that's going to help with as well. The people who have been involved with learning with me, and you might know that I emphasize the importance of fun, and I try to make any session that I deliver entertaining. And if you cast your minds back to the first seminar we talked about, the first subject I went to was games and gamification, because learning is fun and rewarding, and when it becomes fun, it becomes more memorable and effective. This is based on my personal experience, where I say that this basically makes a win-win situation. Is that there's also some evidence suggesting that when we're having fun and when we're happy, our brain warms up. And the brain is actually a muscle, and a warmer muscle works more effectively. So you get more efficient memory retention and growth, but also anything that is fun is more memorable. We remember happy situations, and it makes us happier to take part. So I think everybody should make learning entertaining, because it's something that we want. So a lovely quote from BB King. I might be giving away some of my age here. And the beautiful thing about learning is nobody can take it away from you. Well, that is absolutely true. It's yours. You own it. But there's also some interesting stuff underneath this, that we know that it's yours. Nobody can take it away. But actually, there are two types of, there's different types of memory. I'm going to look at something called procedural memory and declarative memory. So procedural memory is something that's based on procedures. So once you've learned how to ride a bike, you do not forget it. And that's because it's actually stored in your procedural memory. Sometimes deep memory, but slightly different. Procedural memory is more resistant to memory loss. So in the event of a stroke or accident or brain damage, quite often procedural memory things will stay. It's not always the case, but they're more likely to. And this is the type of memory that's used for skill-based usually. So swimming, baking, reading, and riding a bike. Quite interesting if you think about some of these things. The other type of common memory form is something called declarative memory, and this is episodic memory, and it's recollections of experiences. So we tend to remember our first day of school, our first kiss, something that is really memorable. Notice the memorable is quite important, and that's what we look for when we try to deliver effective teaching or learning. So if your learning is memorable, it's likely to create an episode that sticks in your memory and that you can call back to. Then there's also factual knowledge, and this is like things like capital of Spain, names of kings and queens. That's the memory that I tend to find it is harder to retain, but it's not impossible. Both of those types of memories are things that you're aware of and that you can communicate with others. More importantly, and it's the important thing with memory, you might not remember all of the kings and queens names or the capital of Spain, but you know that you did know it, and that you know that it is knowable, makes it easier for you to then go back and find it again. So once you've known something and you've forgotten it, it becomes a lot easier if you try to learn it again or find it again. I'm hoping that's made some kind of sense. It makes a lot of sense to me. Do feel free to comment, and if it's just a whole load of blah, blah, then I know that I've gone off the point. So carrying on with this memory and learning, and also BB King, that nobody can take it away from you. Whilst no one can take it away from you, some aspects of learning can and will be lost. What's important is that is not caused by others. What is learnt and the act of learning enhance self-achievement. So more important is not just the learning that you may or may not lose. Nobody can take it away from you. More importantly, the act of learning and just being involved in it, that social interaction, that engagement, and that achieving little targets along the way enhance self-esteem. So if you do a course, you might even do something that's too complicated, and you might not pass that course. Along the way, you do pass little steps. I'm awfully sorry, there's beeping going on because some muppet here has left some other programs on. So I'm just going to drop out of a couple of other things that I don't really need. I should be focused on what I'm doing. Sorry, my fault. It's like, remembering to turn your mobile phone signal down. I didn't bother. Terrible. And I don't care. If you want to answer your phone, go ahead and answer your phone. In this situation, it really doesn't matter because I don't even know you're doing it. Learning also enhances mental resilience. So I'll just go back. So that's quite an important thing, is that you might not pass the entire course, but there is still this success in what could be success in failure. And I know that anybody that's involved in community education, this is something that I've been looking at a lot, is coming along, taking part, communicating with others are successes. Getting out is a success. Achieving part of it, even if you don't achieve the whole course, is still success because you have achieved something, and that cannot be taken away. And learning also enhances mental resilience. This is that shock absorber that Bill Watterson was talking about. Calvin and Hobbes, brilliant. If you haven't read it, do Google them. They're immensely funny. I would have put pictures into this talk that I'm going to give a bit later, or show up on YouTube, but I didn't know if there were copyright issues involved, and I don't want to cause any. Knowledge and learning help us to find and adapt to other methods and approaches to unaccepted situations. So what we and provide some methods. What I'm trying to get at here is that when we know different random things, or something that you might not think applies in a situation, is that sometimes it just allows us to increase our problem solving and adapt things to unexpected situations. Because we have a more range of skills and approaches, it helps us adapt. And that adapt means that when a challenge comes along, we have more tools in our personal possession to overcome that, which is this mental resilience. So brilliant. So it's nice and easy. Unfortunately, with learning, especially in post-compulsory education or adult learning or anything, is that we have problems and barriers that are the things that we need to knock down and deal with first. Many adults associate learning with childhood or student days, and when we become older, we consider that other things have a higher priority. Sometimes society is doing this to us, but sometimes it's us as ourselves. How many times have you said or come across someone who has said something like, I wanted to learn to play a guitar, but it is too late now. Well, it's not too late. And I'm just going to give a couple of seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever, and see how many other people have heard something like that, or have a sentence like that they can just pop into the chat, things that we would have liked to have done, and we say, do you know what, I wish I had, but it's too late now, or I haven't got the time, or I'd want to do that, but I just don't have the time. I've got to go to work, I've got to do this, I've got to clear the glue off the table, and whatever. I'll just give you a couple of seconds more before I witter on. And clean my glasses, and I can see the screen. Probably should let Kevin take over. He's better at these kind of things than I am. But he's asleep in a roll of masking tape at the moment. It's quite interesting how this particular barrier is a barrier that might be created by the environment we're in and around us, and that we then create this barrier. But it's because this barrier is almost as if that's what society sort of says. You know, you learn when you're young, and then you work when you're old. And it's a shame, because that's not what lifelong learning is all about. I'm going to carry on, but I'll keep an eye on the chat. There is another major problem and barrier, which is quite important to deal with. A lot of many adults, old and young, and sometimes also children, associate learning with negative experience. I felt I was too old to go to uni, but I discovered people much older, and absolutely. And that is very true. I can't go to university. I'm too old. Well, you're not. And obviously, I know you, Ange, and I know that you succeeded, and you've become an excellent teacher, by the way. And you're right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with studying a BA in history, even if you're 70. That's so cool. Absolutely. And that's the trick. But we have to be aware that adults do have these negative experiences, and not achieving in school leads us to believe that we're not capable, and therefore we create a barrier. And I probably see a whole load of sentences coming in a minute of things that I hear and that you hear all the time. I can't do maths. I am stupid. Other people are cleverer than me, you know. I couldn't do that when I was younger. I'm not going to be able to do it now. Well, yeah. The trouble is these create these mini, not quite real major traumatic experiences, but they are. Also, we get these traumatic experiences in formal education that will create a major barrier for us, such as a real traumatic experience, such as bullying. You know, if you're bullied in school, you couldn't achieve in school, and that therefore means you don't think you can learn, which is a real shame. Yep. Well, and you're doing an MRes, brilliant. I really didn't do very well in school, but we won't get onto that. It is a major problem, and any kind of learning that you would like to have a go at, sometimes you've got these barriers, and the first step to being able to knock down a barrier is to know that it's there. If you think you can't learn, then that is something that you say, well, hang on a minute. Well, that's to say other people have had that, but they have. Maybe it's not the barrier that is a problem. I just need to learn something different. I need to have a go of something. And also accept that you don't have to pass the entire course. I shouldn't say that. A lot of people are focused on this achieving a qualification. The first step is to have a go. Those little steps that you take are successes, and eventually will lead to more successes. So learn something you want to learn. The barriers affect something that is called our mindset. Some of you will have heard of the work of Carol Dweck, which we'll get to in a minute. But mindsets can also be affected. When we create barriers to our learning, we push ourselves into something that's called a closed or a fixed mindset. And it's not just barriers to learning that can do this. There is a thing where we often see our ability and talent as fixed, and therefore not something that can be changed, or not something that we can change. You know, people say, well, I'm not a creative person. Well, that's rubbish. Everybody is a creative person. I'm rubbish at mathematics. No, you might have been rubbish at mathematics. Doesn't mean you will always be rubbish at it. Oh, it's hard for me to lose weight. Yes, it is hard. Nobody says it's easy, but it is achievable. But what happens when you get this fixed way of thinking is you can't break out of it. So the first thing to know is to know that there are two mindsets. There's fixed and there's open or growth. So if you have a fixed mindset, you tend to think that talents and traits are fixed. You become risk adverse, so you don't take a risk. and this happens to children in school, and it's really quite worrying. We're afraid of getting it wrong, and therefore we don't try. But if you answer and you do get it wrong, then it means that you're willing to try harder. By being risk adverse is you don't push yourself, and therefore even clever people can have these fixed mindsets because they become risk adverse, and it stops them trying. People with a fixed mindset, effort is only for those who are clever. Well, no, it's not. The effort will pay dividends. It takes time. People with fixed mindset cover flaws and are defensive if those flaws are pointed out. They see feedback as a personal attack and threatened by the success of others. Fixed and growth mindsets affect the world of business quite a lot, and they've looked at this because certain companies end up with a fixed mindset within them. And if you look at the work of Carol Dweck, there's loads of lovely little quotes from certain companies, and companies that are threatened by success of others within their structure means that they don't necessarily, they attack people who are successful and knock them down, and that creates people who then become risk adverse, and it stops companies being dynamic and adapting to situations. If you look at some of the business models for companies like Woolworths, this could well have been sitting underneath these fixed mindset characteristics of their managers, are basically stopping that company adapting and changing, and therefore not succeeding. Carol Dweck's the person behind Growth and Fixed Mindset. So she says, so rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to reveal my weaknesses, you say, wow, here's a chance to grow. No matter what your current ability is, effort is what ignites that ability and turns it into accomplishment. Got a longer quote from her. Studies show that people are terrible at estimating their abilities. Recently, we set out to see who is most likely to do this. Sure, we found that people greatly misestimated their performance and their ability, but it was those with a fixed mindset who accounted for almost all the inaccuracy. The people with a growth mindset were amazingly accurate. When you think about it, it makes sense. If, like those with a growth mindset, you believe you can develop yourself, then you're open to accurate information about your current abilities, even if it's unflattering. Well, this isn't working. I'm making lots of mistakes. Well, fine. That's okay, because it's then that you spot, well, these things aren't working, but you're willing to try to have a go of making them work. Just a little caveat here is that the step is to recognize what a fixed mindset is and what a growth mindset is. It's not always easy to switch, but knowing what it is means you know what you've got to try to do. You can't, it's no good saying, oh, you've got to do that. You've got to know why the opposite is in effect and when that's affecting you, because then you can have a go at changing it. Important thing to note is your mindset is not fixed. It may and it will change. At times, all of us will have a fixed or closed or negative mindset. So please do not worry if you do have a fixed mindset. It can change. The skill is to know that a mindset can change and that you can change it yourself. And also to recognize that you have switched between one and the other. You might have been in a growth mindset, might all be working. You might end up in a fixed mindset. It's knowing that and recognizing it, which is when, if you go back and you start thinking, well, hang on a minute. Oh, I've become risk adverse. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm worried about my flaws and I'm being defensive of those. You switch back into it. But by knowing what those characteristics are, you can recognize when it's happened. So, growth mindset characteristics. Talents and traits can be developed through learning. We know that. You're just sitting here in some of the comments coming through. You can develop through your learning. So even if you don't have something like a GCSE, it is not a barrier. You can learn new skills, new talents, and they can be developed. And you can learn, you do that through learning. Mistakes are an aid to learning. We don't learn how to ride a bike by not taking the risk. If you're risk averse, you can't ride a bike because you're worried you're going to fall off. Well, you are going to fall off. That's the thing, is you get up and you go again. When we make mistakes, what we do is we look at that mistake and we look at what we do next time, and we can make that better in the future. Failure is only a temporary setback, and it can provide an opportunity to learn. Something goes wrong, you're baking your cake, and it's turned out that, or you're making your bread. You're making your bread is a good one. You're making your bread, and the dough is just too wet, and it's really hard to work. Therefore, you think, oh, I can't do this, and you just give up. Well, actually, if you work it long enough, or next time you change the balance and you use less water, then it's a set. You sit there and go, well, why is my dough too wet? I'll have another go. And you never know, the next go might succeed. Feedback helps to enhance our ability. If we listen to what people think and say about what we're doing and how we're succeeding, we can sort of go, well, actually, yeah, that's some good points. Maybe I'll take some of that on board, and I'll think about that. And we can use that along with our own reflection. Growth mindset also, the success of others provides a source of inspiration and information. So we can go, oh, I can use that. I can adapt that to my situation. Also, oh, well, I couldn't do that. I mean, when I was in school, I couldn't do maths. I thought I was rubbish at maths. I now teach maths, and I enjoy it. It's the fact that I saw that other people who failed then were able to achieve, that sits there and goes, well, actually, I couldn't do it then, but I can do it now. And people with a growth mindset embrace a challenge. Oh, here's something new that I don't know how to do. Great, that's fun. So, how do we get from A to B? How do we get from fixed to growth? Well, here are some ideas of what we can do. We can acknowledge and embrace imperfections. You know, there's nothing wrong with them. But if we accept and acknowledge that we are not perfect, then we're not worried about those when other people spot them, you know. We're not worried that, I just go back then to, we're not worried that people see our flaws, because actually we know they exist. Doesn't matter. We view challenge as an opportunity. Oh, there's something I don't know. Oh, I can have a go at trying to do that. Have a go of replacing certain words. You know, well, I keep failing. Well, don't worry about failing. Have a go at learning. If you're failing at something, have a go at learning it instead. Replace fail with learn. I'm going to keep failing at that. Well, I can learn to do that. Emphasize growth over speed. Don't worry about achieving it today. It will take time. So growth, a little bit more growing rather than achieving. And the same thing then is to reward the action, not the trait. So actually putting in the effort matters. Achievement follows. So don't always reward the success. Reward the effort. The more effort you put in, the more success you will have over time. Reflect. Look back. Think, well, what went well? What didn't go well? And I have different models of reflection. There's one where I do this little picture of a yin-yang symbol. Because when we reflect, when we think back on something, we will often see what's gone wrong. But everything that's gone wrong will have something where it's gone right. So every time you think of something that didn't work, think of something that did, you know. Well, yeah, I was trying to do this drawing, and, you know, it doesn't look anything like it started. Well, actually, okay, so the drawing, you think the drawing was rubbish. Well, actually, there was a drawing. There were also elements of that drawing that did work. You might just get the rough outline shape, and you think, well, actually, those bits worked. All of this bit didn't. Well, I take those bits away and do this bit and do more of that. Change the word and use the word, add the word yet. I can't do that becomes I can't do that yet. That has never worked for me. That has never worked for me yet. It might. I can't do maths yet. I can't sing yet. Can't play a musical instrument yet. Means that, well, hang on, one day you might. Make goals. Use these action plans. Make a little goal, achieve a little thing. Build on that, make the next goal. Celebrate personal success. People who are anxious, and we've looked at this before, tend to just think, well, things work from around them. Well, actually, you made that happen. Learning is when you succeeded, and celebrate that, because actually that will show that you can do things. Right. Carol Dweck, lovely person. In my experience, the only way I know to change the type of person that you believe you are is to build a better identity for yourself. And the only way to do that is through small and repeated actions. Don't try to achieve it all at once. A little step. Making your bread, well, this dough might have been better than that dough. The bread will follow. The quality of bread will follow. You might not have proved it enough. You might not have needed enough. Need a little bit more, it will be a little bit better. Step by step, then you start making really good bread. And if you start making really good bread, feel free to bring me a loaf over. A couple of quotes here. So, Leonardo da Vinci, learning is the only thing that never exhausts itself. It never fears and it never regrets. Don't ever regret. You don't regret things that you've learned. They become bonuses, not negatives. So another one, the journey of learning is paramount, and it is important to both the mind and the heart. Make learning fun, and your soul, heart, and health will all gain benefit. I'm not going to say who that was. I'm going to let you try and look for that quote. What can I learn? Well, the great thing is anything. You don't have to learn a degree. You don't have to learn a subject. You can learn a skill. You can have a go at baking. Have a go at baking a new cake. Have a go at baking bread. Have a go at baking a different type of bread. Have a go at playing a musical instrument. Have a go. A little bit might work. Have a go at sign language. There's some lovely courses. I just saw one. I don't know where it is the other day, and I'm thinking, well, I might do that. From BritishSign.co.uk. And how cool is that? Hello. Oh, good morning. Wow. Good afternoon. I'm having a go at some of these. Good night. It's nice. You can actually maybe do a little bit of communication with other people. There's an online course for £20 where you can also find some stuff from British Sign Language or whatever, BritishSign.co.uk. There are other resources on there. Have a go, have a look and learn that. Have a go at arts and crafts. If you're going to do some arts and crafts, as the videos that we've got from Julia up on our YouTube site, maybe put something down on the table so you don't make such a mess as I did. DIY, have a go of learning some DIY skills, even small skills. If you succeed, contact me and come over at some point and fix all of my errors. I keep having a go of DIY and I'm not very good at it yet. It's not I can't do DIY, I can't do it yet. I will get better at it. It's just taking me a long time. Gardening, I'm getting a bit better at gardening. Last year I tried to grow loads of things, and most of it didn't work, but some of it did. I didn't get a lot of green beans because I made a lot of mess, but actually I got some green beans and they were really nice. Even if you grow some herbs on your windowsill, have a go. learn it. You can learn online. You can find, how do I grow this? How do I grow tomatoes? And I just got to read about tomatoes now. I didn't get many tomatoes last year, but they're looking so much better this year. Not so good last year, a bit better this year. Fantastic. History, this is quite a fun thing actually. Have a look at your own family history or local history. Family history, you've got some clues already. You know some of it. Start building that together. Have a go of creating your own family tree. So just draw it out on a piece of paper. It gets quite fun. List is endless. It doesn't have to be a major subject. It can be a small skill. Anything like that. And you will gain, as we've saw right from the start. So, where are we? Other things you can do. You can enroll at a college. In the area that where I'm focusing on, which is sort of Northwest Wales, there's Coleg Cambria, Northeast Wales, Coleg Cambria, West Cheshire College, and Adult Learning Wales. They all have a wide range of courses, including vocational. Colleges, especially those three, are very friendly and easy to talk to. And if you lack confidence in approaching them, ask us and we'll be happy to help. You could also enroll in one of our courses. We're also very easy to talk to. That's if you want to go down the formal route. Remember, you can just learn a new skill. Baking, cooking, gardening, cooking a new dish, a new recipe. Duplicated that, delete that for when I do the talk later. So please remember, power and flexibility of your mind and its ability to keep learning is not limited by content, ability, or age. Do not think of your mind as closed. It is always available to be open, and a growth mindset is something we can all achieve. I will do this talk with these words you can see, so you can revisit that again. I'll probably record that later in the week and pop it on the website. But that's the end of this. And this time, the homework helper is sort of in there as well, because it's all about learning. So have a go of something new. Look at our website and our YouTube page, and you'll see some free stuff to have a go of. Have a go of some crafts. Learn to make something different in your crafts. Learn a different recipe. Cook something different whilst you're at home. You're learning a new recipe. You're building on it. You're building on knowledge or skills you already have. Well, that's it for this week. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. If you like what we're doing, then pop over to our YouTube channel and just leave a couple of notes. You can also subscribe to the channel, so when we produce more stuff and it's not just me and my ramblings, then let us know. We're also on Facebook and social media like Twitter. And it is, thank you, Ange. It's quite nice. It feels like talking to myself, but I'm not, because we do have these comments, and I do love it when they do pop up. So thank you very much. We're back here again 10 o'clock next week. Bring your own coffee and cake. I'm just going to hang around, and if there are any questions in the chat, I'll answer them. So I will just shut up and just wait. And I'll put, it's funny when you do these talks, by the way, because you're talking to yourself and you see yourself on the screen. It's quite weird. But I am quite enjoying them. And I'm not just always sleeping. Oh, I got a new jigsaw to do that. I might do that at some point. Lots of learning how to use how to use a network attached storage. I think I might do that. Thank you, Kerry and everyone. Lovely to see you. We'll have to have a nice get together when all of this is over. I'd love to have a barbecue. I love barbecues, even though I don't eat lots of different types of meat. Somebody's got a lot of space. They could do a huge barbecue. We got quite a bit of space because you can't park anywhere near the house. But a bit of walking, so it's not far. There's a car park in the village, which is by the post office. Post office is lovely. I've got 3 tomato plants in there, so I've added those tomato plants, and hopefully they're going to work. Because my seedlings, I didn't think worked, but I kept them going just in case. And then I read something about some food and feed, or putting 2 seeds into 1 pot, and actually a couple of the seedlings are coming in. It's just having a bit of patience. They're growing, they're just not growing fast yet. But then once they've grown a little bit, then they really do grow fast. It's brilliant. So still a couple of you here, so if you do have any questions, feel free to ask. And then I could go get myself a cup of coffee. Make the world's biggest fruit salad. I might learn how to make different food. There you go. I'll put that on my action plan. Learn some new recipes for fruit flans and fruit tarts. I might also learn how to use network attached storage. I might enroll on a course if I can find some time. Be good. Thank you, everybody. I've quite enjoyed myself today. I'm glad that I did carry on. I was just going to go off and do something else. And there we go. I'll just sit here for a couple more minutes in case anybody has anything. Do please go and have a look at our YouTube channel and post something on there. You could also, here's something you could do. You could learn how to make a quick YouTube video on something that you could share with other people. Instead of learning, I'll go teaching. Teaching and learning go together in Welsh, it's the same thing. So, think, well, I could do this. I'll do a little video on how to do this. How to make a cup. How to make different types of cake. How to build a shed in the garden. Oh, I've got, I did one of those little things, the little cave, and I'm doing some little cave art of things in the garden. It's quite cool. Yeah, absolutely. Stay safe, Kerry. It's quite fun. Have a go of it. I have to get my glasses. I might have a different prescription for my glasses because I've got the chat on the screen that's slightly smaller, and it's got soon, hopefully, when safe, XXX. If your glasses are a little bit, or you're slightly blurred, that can look like safe something. But there we go. Right. So I had the right glasses on. There we go. Bye-bye. See you soon.